Hello everybody, welcome back to Jew Rant, the YouTube's greatest series where I rant about stuff. Today's episode, I'm gonna rant about getting older, and specifically getting older in the gaming community. It sounds nerdy, but hear me out for a sec. I remember when I was younger, right? I started playing video games when I was very little, but I started playing online with random people when I was 12. Even though my parents would be like, no, you're gonna tell them their address and then they're gonna steal their credit card information. I still did it, And I remember playing then, and I played with random ass people that were also my age online and things like that. And then every so often, you'll get in a random match with someone that's older, or 20 or something like that, and you're like, damn, you're old. You're gaming when you're 20, 25, don't you have a job? It's 10 p.m., but it's don't you have a job? Shouldn't you be doing shit? You can't be playing video games. And I remember them saying, one day, you'll realize, I'm older, but I still like playing video games. And that hit recently, because I'm not old per se. I'm still young, technically. But I'm 20, right? And it hit me when I was playing recently, oh, I'm that older guy now that's playing video games. After calling other people the older guys, I'm the older guy that's playing video games because it's fun, and you don't just stop liking video games when you go older. You're still gonna like video games, and random voice chat's still gonna be fun. And I guess it hit me because I have a cousin, right? I have a little cousin. He plays Fortnite, and we play together sometimes randomly, and he's 13. And we'll play, I'll freaking carry him to epic victory royales, and randomly, he'll invite his friends also, and I'll absolutely obliterate them, in freaking box PvP and zone wars. But, I realized, they're all, around 13, 14, 15, around that age. And when they joined our party, and they heard my voice, they're like, who's this man? Who's this old guy? And I'm they're getting, I guess, intimidated by my voice, that I sound older the same way I did when I was younger. And he's my cousin, whatever. And I found it interesting. Oh, you are what I was when I was younger. And I am what I thought of those people back then of being old. And I know, it made me feel old all of a sudden. Oh shit, you're old and you're playing video games. I mean, but you can still have fun, you're allowed to play video games, but it just made me realize that guy was right. You're still gonna like video games. And then I completely destroyed all of them in zone wars and things like that. And it was funny because they reminded me of me and my stupid online friend group, just the immaturity and all that crap. Yeah, I mean, I was just there because my cousin invited me and freaking whatever. But it was interesting, and they didn't mention it, but technically they could have been shouldn't you be at a job? You're old, you can't play video games, you have to be working. And even though, you're free to play video games in your free time, after your job. And I was sort of damn, I'm older. In that video game, in that way, I'm older. I'm still young, hella young, because I'm 20, I'm still immature in so many ways. But in that aspect, I am now that older person. I guess that average age of the whole voice chat thing is I guess when you're a teenager, when you have more time. And I guess I just found that interesting. That I guess eventually, if you're a teenager, I'm fresh out of teenager, but if you're 15, whatever, you're watching this, and you say to someone, hey, you can't play video games, or what are you doing if you play video games? You have no life or something, eventually you're gonna be older, and you're gonna be I still like video games, and I'm 25, 30, you're not gonna not like video games, So I guess I have empathy for those people that I might have called old. I now understand. Video games are fun. You don't just stop liking video games. and it's fun because your the skill gap is just crazy because they only started 2 years ago and you've been doing this for like a decade, so just absolutely mop the floor with everyone. They don't know how to trash talk, they're rookies. Obviously, no slurs. That I do not condone that. But yeah, I just that's the rant. I just found that interesting. Like, I'm an old man in the game world, I guess now, and one day you will be too. I hope you enjoyed. God bless.